He got Adeptus Battle Gray down on all of the rocky features on his body, which in my opinion sort of helps break up the white and really makes it look a lot more palatable as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so now we've got is this ridge down the back, and what we're going to do is I'm going to actually mix some of the Adeptus Battle Gray with a little bit of white, and we're going to try and make a transition between the bluish white skin up to a more solid Adeptus Battle Gray area surrounding all those spines, and then we're going to end up finishing off with a Bada Black wash to try and darken it up so that we've got some contrast down in the little peaks there. If I get this white paint to ever come out of the bottle, we'd be set. There we go. Alright. Okay, so that's what I've got now. Sort of a medium gray, and I've got it really watered down. So alright, let's give this a shot. Okay, that is still hyper opaque. And we're not getting any blend there. So let's regroup. Let's try this again. I've mixed up something a little lighter this time and very, very thin. So we're just getting down here on the white and we're pulling up onto the spines. Okay, we got a little bit of pooling there. We want to get rid of that. Okay, well that side dries, let's flip back over here. Keep going. We're going to just do the same color again, and we're just going to cover slightly less area this time. Going to really focus on the spines. Okay. Okay, so now we're starting to get a transition there. Alright, let's add just a touch more gray back into this. Alright. Okay. So let's keep on getting a little darker. I think we may need to add a little more of our Adeptus Battle Gray to this mix. Alright. So, we've got the beginning of our transition fairly well established. I feel like it's going to be relatively safe. Go ahead and start making some big leaps here into into the final color we want this before we do a wash. So we're not wanting to cover up all the stuff that we've done so far, because then we won't have a gradient. We'll just have Adeptus Battle Gray. Okay. So there, now we're starting to get a nice gradient there. So I feel we are a touch on the opaque side. I'm going to try to correct a little bit of that here. There we go. Alright, so let's flip it over to the other side. Or, we still got a little bit of ways to go around this edge, I guess. There we are. Okay. Just sort of hitting the crests here with that. Okay, so I think that we are getting sufficiently close here to the correct tone before we do a wash. So I'm going to let that dry for just a couple minutes, and then I'll be back and we'll do a black wash over all of the rocks, and we'll start doing some highlighting from there. Alright, so one thing that I sort of forgot that we need to do before we start doing any washes here, I need to get all the flesh inside the mouth, the tongue, the fleshy bits on the sides here. So I've mixed up 1 part elf flesh to 1 part Mechrite red, and kept it relatively opaque here. And we're gonna do the tongue first. I want to go ahead and do that, and then we're going to add a little more elf flesh to the mix, and do the tendons, I guess, and the sinew on the sides of it, and all the gums. Slightly lighter color, because we're going to cover this all with a bale red wash. Gotta make sure I get the roof of the mouth too. We just want it to be a little more dark and red inside the mouth than outside, just to add a little bit of depth. And it's okay, we're getting on the teeth now. We're gonna cover those back up with some bleach bone, and probably do an Ogren flesh wash over that. So these teeth are just making a terrible mess of my brush. Okay. That's good enough for that before we get the wash on there. Okay, so adding just a little bit more elf flesh. Okay. Need to pull off a few stray hairs on my brush there. Okay. Okay, so I finished this up. I'm going to get a few little spots here that we missed. May as well just cover everything, teeth and all, just to make sure we don't miss any spots. Oh, there's a little spot. Okay, almost there, just sort of picking out a few last little spots that I missed here. Side of the tongue. Okay, alright, got that there. And now